Gerard to Aston Villa. Whoa, sends shivers down my spine. That does, guys. Not going to lie. Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa. Welcome to Transfer Hub, your home of Aston Villa's transfer news, links, rumours, murmurings, incomings, outgoings. Monchi radio interviews. I might stick that on the end of it. How are we all doing? Hope we're doing good. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We smashed 25k yesterday. Well done to all of you guys. And make sure you are hitting that like button. That really helps the channel grow and get new people watching. So let's try and get... This is an action-packed one. Let's try and get 800 likes on this. And comment your thoughts in the comment section down below. So what have we got on today's show? We've got Gerard Martin, Barcelona player linked with Aston Villa that I'm very, very excited about. And again, just like the left-hand side winger that we've been linked with, this could spell a change to Unai Emery's system that we'll go into. We've got some Tyrone Mings news, Emi Martinez news, Ollie Watkins rumours, and then we've got some PSR news that could help Aston Villa in the long term. So we'll kick it off then with Gerard Martin. And the rumour here is coming from Alex Rodriguez Sanchez, and he's saying Gerard Martin would leave if Grimaldo arrives. If Grimaldo lands, the main casualty would be Gerard Martin, who would be transferred. Strong interest from Bournemouth, Aston Villa and Brighton, also from Serie A and the Bundesliga. Barcelona would negotiate a transfer starting at 15 million. A loan right now seems unfeasible. So anybody who watched that impressive semi-final, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Barcelona, will have seen the 2 assists from Gerard Martin, who has got a peach of a left foot that can deliver and cross from deep. And I'm talking from deep. It's an absolute wand. It's pinpoint precision accuracy. He is aggressive, combative, gets forward, inverts slightly, and he is a ball-playing, left-sided left-back with a bit of a profile of a centre-back, can play left-sided centre-half or can play left-back, can invert and go into a central-ish space, which he's really good and adds different elements to his game. Aggressive, strong, really good standing tackle, pacey, athletic, physical. Has got a real good height profile about him. And he's a player that looks to me to be a technical, tactical Unai Emery player. And I think he could be a little bit of a game changer in the Aston Villa system. I hear people now typing and thinking in their minds, but we need the right back. We do. But this could also be a system changer that could have a knock-on effect for what the right back could be operating like for Aston Villa. So he's a player that has done really well recently. His form has been pretty good. He had that brilliant Champions League game, like I mentioned. So we're going to have a little look at his player profile, and then we're going to go tactically and have a little look at what this could mean for Villa's tactical system as well. So here we've got Gerard Martin, 23 years of age, left-footed, market value 6.8. And note the positions he can play, left-hand side or centre-back as well, which is really good. We want versatility with the players that we get. He got a La Liga rating on SofaScore of 6.81. If we have a look at his Champions League rating, it was a 6.89. He played 8 Champions League games and started 5. And then you can see that he had that real good game against Inter Milan when he got 2 assists. And he was absolutely incredible, putting those balls into the Barcelona attackers. But we'll go back to La Liga then. He played 28 games, started only 11. He got 1 goal and he got 3 assists. He's got a passing accuracy of 85%, own half 88%, opposition half 78%. Clearances 1.0. We've got successful dribbles 36%, but these are the big numbers as well. 58% total duels won, 54% ground duels, and aerials are at 70%. Now, that is a completely different profile to Ian Maatsen. One is up and down, pacey, vibrant, can go inside as well. Someone who I'm really excited about, but the physical element to his game isn't there. So Martin adds a completely different profile. So if we have a quick little look at FB Ref then, at some of his standout numbers, then we're going to have a little look at the tactical pad. So here we've got standout ones then. Shot creating actions 2.43. We have got touches and attacking penalty area 1.58. Progressive passes received 9.95, which is really good. Very, very high. Tackles 1.88. Interceptions 1.27. Blocks 1.33. Clearances 2.73. And aerials 1.03. So here now, we are going to have a look at the tactical pad. But I want to go and kind of merge this together a little bit, because I think it's important to read between lines a little bit. So yesterday, Tyrone Mings penned to a new contract. So if we're looking at left-sided centre-half now, we've got Pau and Mings. So I imagine Mings, full pre-season, back up to speed, back at it, 100%. Rumours that Villa are saying that they trust his body and his speed is still there. He was meant to have 2 months off during the season because he was injured and he played through it. What a guy. What a man. But we're going to go back in time now to the season before we got into the Conference League pre-season. And this was the team that Unai Emery was experimenting with. He was experimenting with 3 centre-halves. And it was our view going into the season that we were going to see this during the season. 3 centre-halves. And it would have been hybrid. This to me would be hybrid with a player stepping in a little bit and stepping into a midfield area. And the player that you kind of would look at here would be Pau Torres. So why I think this is important is because Martin offers characteristics and a player with a profile that can do that as well. So what it would mean for the Villa team and how it would look would be, we've got 3 centre-halves. So Ramsey would offer, or wide left player would offer width on the left. You've got 2 attackers and you've got your right-sided player who possibly could come inside a little bit more if you had a different type of profile of player who can go inside. Rodgers can go inside, but I'm just going to quickly mention that. But we're not going to go there. So what could happen is you could have the right back that would go forward as well, because you know you're going to get the structure from these 3 players that can offer that protection through there. Then you could offer another additional midfielder being able to go into the attack. This left back then can operate and help support your player in the double pivot. That's how hybrid this whole thing could look. You then could have right back staying at home a little bit more, but then overlapping and knowing when he's got to go forward. We've got cover through there. So this whole 3 centre-backs profile of this new left-back role, or it could be Tyrone Mings in there with Consa. I've just put Pau in because he was just on the screen anyway. But this has a different vibe to it. And I think it could be something different. And we have seen Emery experiment before in pre-season. And if we have just a little look at a heat map from Martin, where I feel like this is important is... I'll get rid of that in a minute. Hold on. Bear with. So where I think this could be important is in that area there. You see how we can move into that central area. You see how we can get these touches. This is where he's doing a lot of his heavy lifting. He's attacking, he's up and down, he's offering that width. But this area here is also quite important as well, because it shows that he can come inside more and invert slightly and offer that sort of hybrid role to a system. So I do think it's really important to look at this type of profile of player. And Unai Emery has done an interview on Sky, and they kind of merged the interview to be a little bit like 5 things that an up and coming coach would have to take on. What are your experiences and what should a coach take on? But Unai was kind of answering the questions as if the questions were pointed towards him. And he spoke about his tactics, and he spoke about being demanding to himself, identifying successful teams and watching them, being consistent, demanding, and having objectives. And he put my own identity to add something to my idea I keep for a long time, to add small details. And I think he's always adding those small details. He's always growing as a coach. And I do think Emery will want to hybrid his system up a little bit. I think we've kind of had the same system now for like 2 seasons, and it's been subtly tweaked. But I think this summer he's going to do a little bit more of a game changer to a position. I'm not talking getting rid of the whole thing. I think just a tiny little thing that will just balance us out a little bit more and add a little bit more depth to our team. He then also went on to talking about how deeply he analyses ourselves after games. He watches the games 3, 4, or 5 times, and he wants to fight. He finds that if he can analyse our team, it's a better way to improve. He analyses with his coaches and with his players, and he appreciates a lot of teams. He also mentioned that his training methods, which I thought were really important. He mentioned robot, boom, 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 heart and emotions and a positive energy. And then he also mentioned, which was something that I really liked, about his leadership and his man management. He gets the best out of them with an emotional relationship. So he's emotional with them. He finds out about their family, their life, and how they're adapting. And he also speaks about how demanding he is with his players, but how he shares the time with them around sort of breakfast, traveling, and training, and that he's a little bit more human with them in those environments. And then when he's in an environment of training, it's very intense, so you get that nice balance with him. So I think it was just really good. It really insightful. It's on Sky Sports on YouTube, so if you go and type in Unai Emery interview, that will probably come up straight away. So go and check that out, and you'll find out a little bit more about Unai Emery, which I think he's really good. You can pick out little small things. So I've kind of spoken a little bit about Tyrone Mings. This was very important yesterday. I thought it was great that he signed. I think he's a player that's put his body on the line for Aston Villa. It's like there's a bullet been going towards the team, and he's stepped out and took that bullet and done everything for this team, and that's what we want. We want players that would do anything for this team, and he would do that. So great news. It's great to see him back on a football pitch whenever I can see him, and I just think it's absolutely brilliant. We've got some news on Martinez. So yesterday we heard Monchi talking, and then we've had this from Ben Jacobs. Manchester United will move for Aston Villa's Martinez if they can get him. The feeling is that he will leave Aston Villa this summer. So at this stage and at this moment in time, I'm kind of edging towards Monchi and Monchi's thoughts. I look at Manchester United and I think they won't sign a goalkeeper and they won't sign Martinez. I look at their recruitment, Cunha and Bremo. That's a massive outlay already. You're talking over 100 and about 120 million, isn't it, for those? Or it might be Brentford want 80 million from Bramo, don't they? So you're going to be talking about 160, 50 million for those two players. They haven't got much more than that to spend because they've got PSR problems themselves and they're trying to sell players. And I can't see many players leaving. Bruno, I think, was the one where they'd probably go, if we got rid of him, we could go on an even bigger spree. So have they got the money to spend on Martinez? Is Martinez a massive priority? Some would say yes, but I would say no, because I think wing backs are vitally important to Manchester United. And I think they need more players other than a goalkeeper. So I'm not sure that he would go there. So that's my thoughts on that situation. And then we've got this situation that's rumbling on as well. And it's regarding Ollie Watkins. And it's Ollie Watkins moving to Arsenal has not been discounted entirely, but the club do have reservations on price. Now, Arsenal have got a new sporting director, transfer guru, Berta, who is now overseeing all of their transfer business. The fans are really wanting Gyökeres or Sesko, and it feels like Ollie Watkins now is third in line for Arsenal. And if they can't get the other two, then they're probably going for Watkins. But I don't see Watkins going to Arsenal because I think they're going to try and get Sesko or Gyökeres. So then that would mean who takes Watkins and what other club would take him. And I don't think Watkins would want to downgrade and not play for a team that's not in Europe. So then which one does he go to? Could he go Liverpool? Not sure. Chelsea, no. City, no. We've got Spurs, no. United, they're not even in Europe anyway. So I think that's where we're at with that, really. Newcastle, no. And Villa would be the best place for Ollie Watkins. So he's comfortable, settled. So I can't see Watkins going to Arsenal. And then there was this one about a week or two ago that Andre Berta remains informed on Ollie Watkins' situation. Mikel Arteta is a fan of the player, but Arsenal have concerns over paying a fee in excess of 40 million for a player who turns 30 in December. That sounds like an Arsenal problem and not a Villa problem. If you don't feel like he's worth that money, then don't buy him. So that's where we're at with that one. So it's interesting that this is still like bubbling up, because yesterday I was kind of a bit like, where's this come from? Like, what's going on here? Like, where's that? I thought they were going for Sesko and Gyökeres. So I think that's, on the back burner. But we've got to keep mindful eye. We've got to keep a mindful eye on that situation as well. And then something that is really good, Villa fans, I think really, really good, is that the Premier League has failed in its bid to prevent clubs from selling assets to sister companies in order to comply with its profit and sustainability rules. You know what's happening now? NSWE V Sports have just pulled up for a car boot sale at Villa Park, and everything is for sale. We've got new club shop for sale. We've got fan zone for sale. We've got Bodymore Eve for sale. We've got, what else can we sell? We got statues to sell. We can sell that new lion statue. We could sell pretty much anything, and we can flog it to ourselves. So get creative now, Villa, and think of things that we can sell to ourselves, because Chelsea were able to sell the women's team. Villa, sell the women's team to yourself, because if Chelsea are doing it and getting around PSR, then unfortunately you have to wake up and play the game. Because if you don't play the game, you're going to get left behind and you're going to be put in loads of bother. So whatever we can sell it. And I think just sell it any way possible, just to be creative, to sell what we can. And you're basically selling it to yourself anyway. So it's not like you're selling it and vice versa. I do see a lot of comments about like naming rights. And I totally agree. You know, about naming rights and naming the stadium something different. But I kind of always just go back to the same thing of if there was that much value in it, surely we would have done it by now. So there must be a reason why Villa don't name something or change something like that, or even name the training complex or something. So it's really interesting why we haven't done that. So let me just double check before I go that nothing has dropped while I am recording. I don't think there has. So we've got through quite a lot today, guys. So that's really good. If there's anything that drops today during the day, then I will react to it. If not, then we'll just keep our eye out on what's going on. So cheers everyone for watching. Up the Villa.